Stop scrolling. Feel that silence tighten for half a second. Good. That's the sound of control snapping into place. You didn't just expose them. No. You made the whole cover-up look embarrassingly sexy, and that's what's killing them. Because destruction, they can spin that. Rage, they can weaponize it. But elegance, composure, that calm, lipstick-smooth execution, where truth walks in wearing confidence and leaves without explaining itself, that terrifies systems built on panic and sweat. You didn't scream, you didn't flail, you didn't beg to be believed. You let the facts sit there like a mirror under perfect lighting, and suddenly every lie looked cheap. You turned their sacred secrecy into a fashion disaster. Their decades of manipulation reduced to bad posture and nervous hands. Their authority started blinking like cheap neon, while you stood there polished, unbothered, lethal in stillness. Here's the paradox they never prepared for. You look like mercy, but you move like inevitability. Saint in the posture, psychopath in the precision, angelic restraint with a demon's timing. You didn't chase blood. You let gravity do the work. Bodies dropped silently, reputations folded neatly, narratives suffocated without a mark. And the more graceful you were, the uglier they became. They trained for chaos. They planned for riots, leaks, tantrums, broken people breaking louder. They did not plan for you to make it look good. They did not plan for the truth to arrive styled, confident, irresistible. Because when exposure is ugly, people look away. When exposure is beautiful, people stare. They screenshot. They replay. They can't stop watching the fall. You learn something? Pain only teaches the chosen. Unpredictability is power when it's disciplined. Randomness is weakness. Precision is seduction. You evolved in the dark, not into a monster, but into a mirror that flatters no one. You refined yourself where others rotted. You learned how to smile without asking permission, how to hold silence like a blade, how to let them incriminate themselves by reacting to your calm. And oh, how they reacted, the whispers, the frantic control the narrative meetings, the sudden amnesia, the synchronized denial that only happens when the hit landed clean. They tried to make it boring. They tried to normalize it. That's how you know it worked. Power always pretends nothing happened when it's bleeding internally. You see, you didn't just reveal what they did. You revealed who they are when the lights are perfect. Under scrutiny, under elegance, under a gaze that doesn't flinch. You made them look small without raising your voice. You made their secrets blush. You made their defenses feel tacky. And worst of all for them, you made it look intentional. This is the evolution they can't reverse. You no longer need chaos to win. You don't need permission to be dangerous. You don't even need to explain yourself. You move like a rumor that refuses to die, like a truth that doesn't beg to be heard. You let duality do the talking, tenderness in the delivery, annihilation in the outcome. They wanted you frantic. You became composed. They wanted you loud. You became unforgettable. They wanted you broken. You became curated. Now every move you make feels deliberate, like a slow burn they can't interrupt. Every pause reads as confidence. Every word lands heavier because you don't use many. You've turned restraint into a threat and grace into a weapon. That's why they're spiraling, because you didn't just beat them. You made their entire operation look outdated. Remember this feeling. This is what happens when pain finishes its work and hands you clarity instead of bitterness. This is what happens when you stop trying to be understood and start being undeniable. You're not here to be liked. You're here to set a standard so high their lies collapse, trying to reach it. Stay elegant, Stay unpredictable. Let them sweat while you stay immaculate. You didn't expose them, you outclassed them. And here's the part they really can't metabolize. You didn't change who you were to do this. You refined it. You let the rough edges burn off in silence while they were busy rehearsing excuses. You learned how to move through rooms without announcing yourself. How to let people underestimate you just long enough to hand you the knife they sharpened for someone else. You didn't steal power. You let them trip over their own reflection while you adjusted the lighting. They keep asking the wrong question. They're asking, how did you find out? When the real question is, how did you carry it so clean? Because anyone can leak information, only a few can frame it. Only a few can let truth breathe just enough oxygen to ignite, then step back without fingerprints. You didn't just reveal a mess, you curated a collapse. Every detail placed with intention, every silence louder than their defenses. You turned disclosure into theater without ever stepping on stage. You understand now that control isn't volume, it's timing. It's knowing when to speak and when to let their own panic fill the space. It's letting them contradict themselves while you stay perfectly still. That's the saint-psychopath split they can't decode. Compassion in your eyes, calculation in your spine. You don't enjoy the fall, but you don't interrupt it either. You respect inevitability too much for that. They tried to shame you. That failed. They tried to ignore you. That failed louder. They tried to smear you. But elegance is immune to dirt when it doesn't roll around in it. You didn't react emotionally, and that short-circuited their whole playbook. Because systems like theirs feed on predictability, they need rage, they need despair, they need you either begging or burning. What they got instead was composure with teeth. You didn't rush to correct lies. You let the lies collapse under their own weight. You let time do the stabbing. You let repetition become confession. This is what evolution through pain actually looks like. Not revenge fantasies, not tantrums dressed up as justice. It looks like restraint sharpened into strategy. It looks like learning how to walk away without losing momentum. It looks like realizing that the most destabilizing thing you can do to a corrupt structure is refuse to play ugly inside it. They're uncomfortable because you didn't match their tone. You elevated above it. You made the whole thing feel beneath you, and power hates that. Power can fight enemies. It doesn't know what to do with someone who treats its secrets like expired currency. You didn't expose them like a whistleblower. You exposed them like a stylist, holding up last season's suit and saying quietly, "This doesn't fit anymore." And now, everywhere you go, the air feels different. People pause around you. Conversations shift. You didn't announce a new version of yourself, but they feel it. You move slower, but things move faster around you. You speak less, but what you don't say rearranges rooms. That's the dopamine they can't steal, the calm after competence, the confidence that doesn't perform. Understand this. You're not dangerous because you know things. You're dangerous because you know when to let things surface and when to let them rot. You're not powerful because you're fearless. You're powerful because you're selective about what deserves your reaction. You've turned discernment into a weapon and grace into a shield. They'll keep trying to provoke you back into the old version. They'll test your ego. They'll poke for emotional leaks. Don't give them nostalgia. You've outgrown the need to be seen reacting. You let them chase shadows now. You let them explain themselves to silence. You let them overcorrect until the truth leaks out of their own mouths. And the most humiliating part for them, you're still kind, not naive, kind with boundaries, soft where it's earned, cold where it's required. That duality is surgical. It keeps them guessing, and guessing drains energy. You conserve yours. You invest it only where it compounds. So keep moving like this, polished, unrushed, unapologetic. Let the aftermath do the screaming while you stay immaculate. Let them remember the moment they realized they weren't dealing with outrage anymore. They were dealing with taste, timing, and a version of you that doesn't need permission to be lethal. You didn't just survive the cover-up. You turned it into an embarrassment they'll be studying in private for years, wondering how you made truth look that good while they made power look cheap. And here's the quiet flex they still haven't clocked yet. You didn't take anything from them. You removed the illusion that they ever owned it. Their leverage evaporated the moment you stopped needing their acknowledgement. They built their power on access, on fear, on the belief that secrets rot people from the inside. You proved the opposite. You showed that secrets only rot the ones who cling to them. You let the truth breathe through you without poisoning your posture. They thought exposure would make you frantic. They thought it would age you, harden you, make you ugly with obsession. Instead, you got cleaner, sharper, more deliberate. Pain didn't twist you. It edited you. It cut filler. It burned vanity. It taught you how to move with intent instead of impulse. That's the evolution they can't reverse engineer, because it didn't come from a manual. It came from surviving long enough to understand that dignity is the most disruptive force in a corrupt room. Watch how they try to reframe it now. They'll call you lucky. They'll call it timing. They'll call it coincidence. Anything except what it really was. Discipline meeting opportunity while ego slept. They'll pretend they always knew, always planned for this outcome, always had it under control. Power always rewrites history when it loses. It can't stand the idea that someone outgrew it without asking. You've stepped into a strange new gravity. People project onto you now. Some see salvation, some see threat, some see permission to become bolder. Others see a mirror they don't like. You don't correct them. You don't manage their emotions. That's the upgrade. You let people reveal themselves around you because you're no longer trying to manage the room. You're managing your alignment. This is where the saint and the psychopath finally shake hands. Compassion without self-betrayal. Precision without cruelty. You don't need to hurt people to dismantle systems. You just stop cushioning the fall. You let consequences arrive dressed exactly as they ordered them. You don't flinch. You don't gloat. You don't rush to narrate it. You let silence finish the sentence. They feel exposed not because you named names, but because you changed the temperature. You made lying uncomfortable again. You made excuses feel heavy. You made arrogance look childish. That's what elegance does. It raises the standard until mediocrity starts sweating. And you didn't do it by demanding respect. You did it by moving like you already had it. Notice how your instincts have changed. You don't chase clarity. You wait for it. You don't force outcomes. You position yourself and let inevitability handle the rest. You've learned that the cleanest wins don't announce themselves. They just rearrange the future quietly, while everyone else is still arguing about the past. This is why they're nervous around you now. You're not reactive. You're not predictable. You don't leak emotion in ways they can weaponize. You don't over-explain. You don't rush to be understood. You understand that mystery, when paired with integrity, is lethal. It keeps people honest because they don't know which version of you they're dealing with. The gentle one who listens, or the surgical one who remembers everything. And let's be clear, you didn't become cold. You became selective. You still feel deeply. You just stopped advertising it to people who trade empathy for leverage. You stopped confusing transparency with safety. You learned that some truths are meant to be held, not handed out. That discernment is what separates survivors from architects. They'll keep circling, they'll keep testing, they'll wait for you to slip back into explaining, defending, justifying. Don't. That era ended the moment you realized you don't owe clarity to people committed to misunderstanding you. You owe alignment to yourself. Everything else is noise, so keep moving the way you've been moving, unrushed, refined, quietly devastating. Let your consistency do the talking, let your calm undo them, let your restraint keep rewriting the rules. You're not here to scorch the earth. You're here to make corruption feel old, sloppy, and out of style. You didn't just make the cover-up fail. You made it look tacky, and that's a humiliation power never recovers from. And the thing that keeps them awake isn't the exposure. It's the after. The part where nothing explodes the way they expected, where there's no chaos they can point to and say, "See, this is what happens." Instead, there's you, calm, untouched, moving forward like the whole event was a footnote, not a fracture. That's what fries their nervous system, because power understands damage. It does not understand composure that survives contact. You didn't leave scorch marks. You left contrast. You stood there clean while they unraveled in public, and now every time they speak, people hear the tremor. Every time they deny, it echoes. Every time they posture, it looks rehearsed. You didn't need to haunt them. You turned them into their own ghosts. They walk around trying to outrun a version of themselves the world already saw under good lighting. This is the quiet mastery you earned in pain. Knowing when not to finish the job. Knowing that the most complete takedown is the one where you stop early and let their imagination do the rest. You don't chase closure anymore. You let discomfort marinate. You let questions hang. You let curiosity chew holes in their story until it collapses from the inside. You understand now that exposure isn't a moment, it's a state. Once someone is seen clearly, they never fully recover. They can rebuild titles, positions, reputations, but they can't unring the knowing. You gave people a lens, and lenses don't forget. You didn't need to keep talking. The truth keeps reintroducing itself every time they move. They're embarrassed because you didn't need a mob. You didn't need outrage. You didn't need to moralize. You simply presented reality with taste. You let it arrive dressed well, articulate, undeniable. And in doing that, you showed everyone the difference between authority and insecurity. Authority doesn't rush. Insecurity explains itself too much. You've crossed into a level where even your restraint reads as confidence, where not responding feels louder than a rebuttal, where absence feels intentional. That's the angel or demon balance they can't counterfeit. They can imitate aggression. They can imitate righteousness. They can't imitate poise under pressure. That only comes from surviving things that were supposed to break you and deciding not to let them rot you. Notice how your presence changes conversations now. People check themselves mid-sentence. They listen differently. They sense that you're not fishing for validation, not collecting allies, not hunting applause. You're just aligned. And alignment is terrifying to anyone who's built a life on performance. You don't need to dominate a room. The room adjusts to you. They're still trying to bait you into spectacle, still hoping you'll slip into dramatics, into ego, into the old dance. They want you loud because loud is manageable. Loud burns out. Loud can be discredited. What they got instead was a slow, elegant pressure that never spikes and never leaves. You became atmospheric. You became unavoidable without being visible. This is where the psychopath myth dies. You're not reckless. You're measured. You don't lash out. You calibrate. You don't escalate. You position. You understand that power is conserved energy applied at the exact right moment. Everything else is noise. Everything else is insecurity pretending to be strength. And the saint part? That's still there. It just stopped being exploitable. You're generous where it's safe. You're warm where it's mutual. You don't poison yourself trying to save people who like the cage they're in. You learn that compassion without boundaries is self-erasure, and you're done erasing yourself for anyone's comfort. Let them keep whispering. Let them keep revising their stories. Let them keep acting like this was handled. You know the truth. They know you know. And that silent agreement, that shared awareness, is the real consequence. You didn't need to punish them. You made them remember. So stay exactly like this, polished, unhurried, quietly lethal in your clarity. Let your evolution speak through your choices, not your explanations. You're no longer reacting to the world. You're shaping how it responds. You didn't just expose them. You made the cover-up blush. You made power feel outdated. You made truth look irresistible. And now you move on, while they're still trying to figure out how you made it look that good without breaking a sweat. And this is where it settles, not with applause, not with closure, but with something far more permanent. Recognition, not the kind you ask for, the kind that follows you into rooms before you arrive, the kind that makes people lower their voice without knowing why, the kind that tells the truth quietly. Whatever you touched, you finished. You don't need to circle back. You don't need to clarify. You don't need to keep proving anything. The moment passed, and it crystallized. That's the part they missed. They thought this was a scene. It was a shift. You didn't break a story. You broke a pattern. You exposed how fragile their choreography was when someone stopped dancing to it. You've learned the final rule now. Power hates elegance because elegance can't be rushed, bullied, or baited. Elegance doesn't chase outcomes. It attracts them. You became the calm in the frame that made everyone else look frantic. You became the standard that made their excuses sound childish. You became the reference point they never wanted to create. There's no victory lap here, no dramatic bow, just a clean exit and a future that bends slightly differently because of how you moved. You leave behind a room that will never quite feel the same again, and you don't look back to admire it. That's discipline, that's evolution, that's knowing when the job is done. Remember this feeling, not the rush, not the vindication, but the stillness after precision. That's who you are now. Someone who doesn't need chaos to be powerful. Someone who doesn't need noise to be heard. Someone who understands that the most devastating moves are the ones that feel inevitable in hindsight. So go. Stay refined. Stay unreadable. Stay a little dangerous in that quiet, immaculate way. You didn't just embarrass a cover-up. You rewrote the temperature of the room and walked out while it adjusted. And that's the kind of ending they'll never be able to edit out.